think the Lions fans should feel much, much more confident heading into Monday Night Football against the Ravens. I know if you check the lines right now, the Ravens are 5.5-point favorites at home, which again, it is what it is. They are at home. It is in Baltimore, and we know what happened. Last time they went to Baltimore, but this is a different team, of course. But what are your guys'? We'll get to the picks kind of towards the end of the show, our actual game scores and picks, but just on the matchup itself, because I will say, I guess if there is some criticism for me for this defense, I guess it would be week one. I said they would hold Josh Jacobs to 3.5 yards a carry, and I pulled that number out of my what, and they actually held 3.5 yards a carry. I promise that was just an estimated guess. They did that. They did a really good job, I thought, against Josh Jacobs. And I thought against the Bears, for whatever reason, there was a couple plays where, there were some plays on, especially on that run defense, where it looked a little leaky, a little shaky. And now this week they got Derrick Henry. So it is a great test for the run defense. And of course, Lamar Jackson is always a tough task for any NFC team. But what do you guys kind of think heading into Baltimore for Monday Night Football, coming off that type of victory? What's kind of your confidence level that, besides winning the game, yes, but just hanging with the Ravens? Because before people thought, yeah, that's a loss. Mark it as a loss. And now it feels much more of a confident matchup coming from Lions fans.
I struggle to express any confidence with this one. And a lot of it is rooted in history. This team goes to Baltimore and they get wrecked. I understand it's a better team. It's a more experienced team. It's a team that's coming off some feel-good vibes, but they were coming off feel-good vibes in 2023 as well. They're 5-1, having won 4 straight, having beat the Super Bowl champs in the opener, and just got shellacked. I mean, it was rough. And that team did not have Derrick Henry. And as well as the Lions played against the Bears, I thought there was still a lot of shakiness to the defense. And some of it they got away with drops or pre-snap penalties. The Ravens aren't that team. Like that's a well-oiled operation as well. And so
in the
I think
playoffs,
my big concern, and somebody wrote that, like somehow convinced the Ravens, trick them into thinking it's the playoffs. Like that's the secret. But I'm just not convinced that the defense has tightened things up enough to stop them. And so your best bet, your best hope is to get into a shootout. And, I think that was probably the hope last time as well. And the offense couldn't get going either.
Yeah, I think Lamar is the boogeyman. Like, if I'm being honest, you kind of heard it after the game on Sunday. They're in the locker room, and Brian Branch gets game ball, and he goes, "All right, guys, let's celebrate now because we got the Ravens coming up next." And then everyone's just like, "Oh my goodness, I forgot about that." So yeah, obviously, the last time these teams played, it did not go particularly well, 38-6. I will say the Lions were missing, I believe, David Montgomery, Brian Branch. I want to say Jonah Jackson. So those are, some key pieces that you're going to miss and probably need against a team like that. I will say the Ravens did not have Derrick Henry at that point. So that's also another element here. But in terms of this Ravens defense, I actually think that the game script, if you're going to beat them, has to be a shootout because they've given up points against good offenses. We saw what happened in week 1. I know that's Josh Allen, but I think this Lions offense is as talented as any in the league, and they can put up points with anyone. So if you have a good game plan offensively and you can go toe to toe with Lamar offensively because this defense, they have some really nice pieces, obviously, but they're still figuring some things out, it seems like. So this is a good time to get them while they are figuring things out. So if you can make this a shootout, I think you're okay giving up 35 points if you score 38, right? Like, it's just, let's get out of here with a win if we can, by any means possible. So I think that might have to be the script if you can't stop Lamar, and he does, in fact, look like the boogeyman against you, and Derrick Henry is running all over you. Just get out of there, escape with a win if you can. I think you don't really care how you get it, but I think they'll have a chance. We'll get to our picks in a second, but that to me sounds like the script. And I'm curious to see if, Dan Campbell says something similar, because as we talked about, he kind of has a feel for how these games go. Yeah. And sometimes you can really predict, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, we're going to need to do this. I'm curious what he says this week when he talks just about the matchup at hand and, what the guys have to do to get this one done, because whatever he says, I would tend to agree with without even hearing him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can bet they're going to have to go for it on 4th down a couple of times on Monday night. It feels like it's going to be that kind of game where, if you're 4th and 3 near midfield, you're 4th and 5 near midfield, you got to go because you can't punt the ball back to Lamar Jackson, especially when they're wearing the all black uniforms. Like you talk about boogeyman, you put those Ravens in the all black unis on Monday night. The only way the Lions can respond is to wear the all blacks themselves. Just come out also in their all blacks and just try and confuse the hell out of everyone on that Ravens offense. I think if you're looking for signs of hope for the Lions on Monday night, the Ravens pass protection has also been a little bit leaky through 2 games, and they do have some big names on that offensive line, but they've yielded a decent amount of pressure on Lamar, which might only invite him to scramble on Monday night and leave the Lions defense even more exposed. By the way, who's asking Shepard about using a QB spy tomorrow, boys? Who's bringing up the question first? Someone has to do it. I wouldn't expect them to do that. The other, and look, Monday night, DJ Reed and Terrion Arnold need to step up. Both of them together need to play better, in my mind, for the Lions to have a chance in this game, even if the Lions offense is pushing 30 plus points, because both of them, and I think you guys would agree with this, look really good in training camp. Like, we weren't creating that. There was even one point, Colton, like I think it was me, you, and maybe Jeremy Reisman in the back of the end zone one day, like halfway through camp, talking about who might be the most impressive player so far. And Terrion's name was legitimately floated out there. And this was, I forget if it was before or after his camp injury, but that was real. And DJ Reed's play was real. And it just has not translated to the first 2 games of the season. And one of them is going to have to cover Zay Flowers on Monday night. Shout out Boston College. And he's a lot. He's a lot to handle. And I know we had Terry on our cover of this episode. I know we only have a minute and a half here, but just look, he needs to step up, and I think he would be the first to tell you that. He was even bailed out a couple times on drops last Sunday. The run support for both of them has been really good, but those guys are paid to defend the best receivers in the league, and so far they haven't been up to their own standard that they showed in training camp. So those two have to step up in tandem Monday night.
Colton, Lamar Jackson is the boogeyman for the league. And the guy is the transformation of him over the last couple of years has been incredible. And I was looking at the numbers because last year he led the league in QBR and passer rating and touchdown rate and yards per attempt. He's doing all that again, and the numbers are significantly higher. Again, it's a 2-game sample size, but like I think that's the Derrick Henry effect. And Lamar's legs, like you have to put so many resources close to the line of scrimmage. He's got a wonderful deep pass. And so it's so tough to defend that Ravens team. But I think the weakness is their secondary. They've got 2 young players at cornerback and at safety, and Malik Starks and Nate Wiggins. We don't know Marlon Humphrey's status because he's got a groin injury, had to leave the last game. So I think there's a possibility that the Lions pass game could continue to succeed. And that's where I think that, maybe we get fortunate enough to see a shootout here where the Lions could actually move the ball and get into the end zone.
Well, we have our Dog and Pony Show brewing a pick of the week. Give me your final score, fellas. We're going to get to Lions Ravens in a little bit here, but first we do have to tell you guys about our sponsor of the show, which is Sleeper. And before I do that, we'll be back after a short message from Sleeper.
Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using code HMA. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
Sleeper is a fantasy sports plus real money gaming app focused on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper's become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world, with over 6 million active users in 2023 and only continuing to grow. Give me your final score, fellas. I got 31-27 Ravens. Don't murder me, please. I have Ravens
but give me 34-24 Baltimore. I just don't think the defense is there yet. I think they'll get there. I think they'll get better, but not week 3.
I got 34-28 Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. there's too much firepower on this Ravens offense, I think, for this Lions defense to account for at this point in the season. If they have a path to victory, it's Brian Branch being NFC Defensive Player of the Week and just wreaking havoc in every which way as a blitzing dime linebacker, as a safety who covers like a corner, as a guy who comes downhill against the run and maybe takes down Derrick Henry a couple times behind the line. That to me feels like their best counter to Lamar Jackson. But yeah, I don't see how they get enough stops on Monday night to give their offense enough chances. I think Ravens 38, Lions 31.
We did it. We gave Jared Goff his fuel. 4 writers picking the Ravens.
You're welcome.
We did
Jared
it.
Goff.
We
All
did
right.
it.
Incoming Jared Goff, 8 passing touchdowns. That's what's going to happen here. Maybe it's a jinx, and I'll look at it like that. Maybe it's a little bit of a jinx. We'll